Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Stylist Meets Vinyl. My name is Chris. Guys, I got an exciting episode today. I have some very exciting thrift store finds and yard sale finds. I made some big scores. I'm excited to share them with you. I'll go through the thrift stores first, and then I'll share with you what I picked up at a yard sale. People who watch this channel will know I like to thrift. I like to be savvy and find some good records here and there where I can. And there's a couple of thrift stores. There's several thrift stores in my town, and there's about 4 of them that are like downtown, and I find that they're pretty picked over, and I think a lot of people frequent them. And then there's a couple that are sort of out of the way in the suburbs, and I've made some big scores there, some really nice finds there. And these 4 thrift store records that I found are from one of those stores. I happened to stop in, and so yeah, I'll get right into it. So first I found the Shadows Jigsaw. This is from, I think it's from 1967. I think this is a reissue. But I mentioned the Shadows in my last Vinyl Finds video that David Gilmour from Pink Floyd had mentioned that he was one of his favorite, that Hank Marvin was one of his favorite guitarists. And so I used that kind of as a guide that I said, hey, I want to check these guys out. And then I had some nice comments, some interesting comments on that video, and people were telling me that there's lots of other people who have been influenced by the Shadows as well, Neil Young being one of them. So that was great to just hear people kind of chime in, and I love that about, showing records, and I'm learning at the same time while I'm showing stuff. People are commenting and saying, hey, yeah, like, this and this and this, and so learning some nice bits of trivia. This is on the Columbia record label with the note. This is a UK version. It's in really good shape, actually. I bought this for 50 cents, I think it was. 25 cents or 50 cents, yeah. Every time I go to this thrift store, they're charging a different amount for their records. Last time was 25 cents. This time was 50 cents. So prices went up by 100%, but that's okay. 50 cents for this one. The next one I found is Michael Schenker, the Michael Schenker group. Now, unfortunately, this doesn't have a cover, and I normally wouldn't pick something up if it didn't have a cover, but 50 cents. I'm like, let's give it a spin and let's check it out. I have one Michael Schenker group album already, which is Assault Attack, which is, I think, their second or third from 1982. This is their debut from 1980. This is after Rudolf Schenker. So Rudolf Schenker is on the Scorpions, their very first album. He's on that. He's guitaring on that one. Then he left and he joined UFO. And then he left UFO in the late 70s and he started his own group, the Michael Schenker Group. So this is like hard rock, heavy metal type stuff. The album is quite dirty, but it is in good condition. Usually I won't pick something up if it's not in good condition. This is on the Chrysalis label, and I like this album. This is good. I'm not sure about I wish there was a jacket, but maybe I'll throw it in like a temporary jacket. I don't know. But anyways, this was a nice find, 50 cents. Next up, okay, so this is a promo record, and this is actually my first. I've had my first 2 jazz records ever. I am such a newbie when it comes to jazz. I don't know much about it at all. And, I hear a lot of people on the VC talking about jazz, and I've been meaning to kind of like, okay, maybe I should give it a try. But I don't want to spend 50 bucks on a jazz record that I might not end up liking. So these were just perfect, the right price, 50 cents. Now this one, I don't know, I'm not sure how the record is going to sound. It's a little bit scuffed a little bit, but this is A Man and a Woman by Johnny Little. This is also from the late 70s, I think around 67, 68. And funnily enough, this is a promo record. It says sample copy not for sale. So that was interesting. This is the inner gatefold here. Johnny Little is, so he plays the vibraphone, which is kind of like a big xylophone, I guess. But this is on the Solid State label. I don't know much about Johnny Little, but I think he had a pretty prominent jazz career. So you know what? I saw this and just thought I'd experiment with it. And I'm sure I've said many times on this channel, but I love the thing about thrifting is that you can take chances on stuff that you wouldn't buy in a record store. So for 50 cents, even if this isn't any good, you know, not too much loss there. Okay, and then this next one. Okay, so this was a score. This next one, same record, same thrift store. I found all 4 of these records there. This one, I just bought it because I thought it looked cool, and I ended up taking it home, checking on Discogs, and this is a $50 record, $50 jazz record. So this is Upchurch from Phil Upchurch. He was like a session like jazz guitarist, and I thought this looked cool, and I had this little twinge of recognition that I may have seen this somewhere in the vinyl community from someone. I'm not sure, but you know, took it home. It's got a little bit of ring wear, a little bit, but otherwise it's in good condition. And this is on the Cadet label. So this is also from, I think this is 1969 on the Cadet label. It's in pretty good shape. I haven't cleaned it yet, but it sounds good. It looks good. And yeah, I was surprised to find this is a $50 jazz record that I found just in the stacks of a thrift store. So that was a really nice score. Happy to find that one and give, you know, now I need to create a little jazz section here for my 2 jazz records. So, okay, now we're moving on to last weekend. I went camping with some friends, and I was driving, and actually I checked out some thrift stores on the way down to where we were going, and I had no luck. I couldn't believe it. 2 thrift stores I checked out, they didn't have any records whatsoever. Which I've never seen before. Like all of the thrift stores I check, I mean, the records are usually crap, but they at least have a section, you know, and these ones didn't. So that was a little disappointing. I went for my camping weekend. I was driving home. I see this sign on the highway as I'm driving. It's like yard sale ahead. I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. So I see the yard sale, and I drove past it, and I kind of just like peered in and looked, and I'm like, you know, and I always look just to see if maybe I can see records. And I don't know, I didn't stop. I kept driving. And then I got a couple minutes down the road, and I was like, I really should have stopped there. Like I'm gonna be thinking about it all day. So the further I drive, the further I get away from it. So I just turned around. I'm like, let's go. Turn around. I drove back another couple of minutes. I got there. There's a woman sitting out front, and I just walked right up to her. I said, do you guys have any records? And she goes, oh yeah, about 500 or 600 records, but I didn't put them out. And then she's like, do you want to see them? I'm like, hell yeah, I do. So she calls her husband over. It's his collection. He's doing yard work. She calls her husband over, and they bring me back to their garage, and there's like a secret door in the back of their garage, and they pull this, like, I never would have known it was there. They pull back this secret door, and there's like stereo equipment. His collection is there. And so he starts asking me, he's like, what are you looking for? I said, well, you know, and he asked me again, he's like, what kind of stuff, what album are you looking for? And I said, well, I'm looking for a copy of Sticky Fingers. It's been on my list for a long time. I'm looking for like a zipper copy of Sticky Fingers. It was the first thing that popped into my head. Reaches into the stacks. Oh yeah, we got one right here. So this is with the functional zipper here, Sticky Fingers. Now I'm at first I thought that something was off with this because I'm used to the Sticky Fingers, the writing being down here, but I guess this is the North American issue that the writing was up here. But he kind of told me what kind of price he was looking for on these, and it was very reasonable. He had a really good collection. This is on the yellow like Rolling Stones label, and it's in good condition. And so he's like, yeah, you know, here you go. And I knew what he wanted for it. And then he gave me like free reign. He's like, you want to look at the rest of the collection? I'm like, yes, I do. So he left, and he left me there, and I was able to flip through his collection, and he had a really nice collection. I'm telling you, I could have spent a lot of money there. And if I had have been there a couple of years earlier, I would have went haywire, because a lot of the records he had in his collection I already have, but I had been looking for them in the past and have since acquired them. But yeah, so he left me there with his collection. I was able to flip through it, and I could have I could have went crazy, and then I go to, I'm checking out some records, and I thought, okay, I'm, you know, as you might do, you're like, I'm gonna Discogs this and see, check the Matrix run out. I realized I left my phone in my car, which was like across the yard and across the street, and I'm like, I can't leave to go get it. Also, I don't even think I had service where I was, so I was just blindly picking and trying to figure out, okay, like, because I knew what he wanted, so how much he wanted for the record, so I used that as a guide for picking what I wanted. So the next record that I found was David Gilmour, self-titled. This is from 1978. This is his first solo album. I don't know if it was really a hiatus, but like Pink Floyd, they released Animals, and then in between Animals and The Wall, David Gilmour and Rick Wright released solo albums. I don't think, maybe Roger Waters did as well, I'm not sure, but I got Rick Wright's album last year, and I've been looking for this David Gilmour album, and you know, it's in quite nice condition. Got the original sleeve, and I haven't listened to it yet, but I'm sure it's gonna sound great. This is on the Columbia label, and yeah, nice condition there. So that was like a no-brainer. Okay, I'm gonna pick that one up. So I grabbed that. Then I saw this one, and this one caught my eye because I'm like, I never see this out in the wild. Like, I don't even see it used at stores. I don't think I've ever seen it, but Neil Young, Tonight's the Night. This is from 1975. So actually he had two copies of this, and I could tell the first copy that he had was an original. I could just tell by the card stock that it was on, that it was like, that was the Neil Young. I have a version of Harvest that's on that like disintegrating cardstock, if you know what I mean. And it was on a black, so this is on the Reprise label, but this one was black, Reprise label, which I've never seen before. And so I knew it was an original, but it wasn't in that great of shape. And so I saw this one here too, and this one was, I could tell it was a reissue, but it's in really good shape. You can see like VG Plus here. The record looks good, and so I decided to go for, okay, I'll go for the reissue because I know it's in good condition versus the original that might not sound very good. So I'm like, okay, great, I'm gonna pick this one up too, and this is a nice pick. I think, so it is it is a reissue, but I think it's an early reissue, and this is Neil Young. He considers this his like Ditch trilogy. There's 3 albums. Time Fades Away, which is the live album, On the Beach, and Tonight's the Night are his 3 Ditch trilogy albums. He considers after Harvest, he reached such levels of fame that he said, like, he was driving right in the center of the road, and he had all this fame and all this power, and he didn't know what to do with it, and he didn't really feel comfortable. So he veered off the road into the ditch, and he released these 3 albums. So he actually recorded this album in 1973, and his label didn't really like it. They thought it was too dark, and they delayed release of it until 1975. So Danny Whitten, one of the members of Crazy Horse, had just passed away from drug overdose, and Neil Young's roadie, Bruce Berry, had also just passed away from drug overdose. So Neil is in a really dark time during this, hence that label I told you, the Reprise, that black label. So I'm really excited. I know the title track on this, and I don't think I really know anything else on this, but I love that title track, and it's not a record that I see very often, so I was really happy to find this. And then I made a big score here. So again, I didn't have Discogs here, so I was just trying to use my own memory and what I knew about records. And I saw this album, and I almost flipped past it because I already have it. But I thought, okay, let me just check it out, check the label, see what it looks like. I checked the label, and I said, hey, I think this is an early label on this. So the album in question, Jimi Hendrix Experience, Are You Experienced? And I checked the label out, and I can see that it's on this tricolor Reprise label. And you don't see this, like, you know, I just showed that Neil Young one with the yellow label, and you don't see this tricolor. And I know that the tricolor Reprise label are the early pressings. So I said, okay, like this could be valuable. And I decide it's mono, and I decided, okay, I'm gonna take a chance on it. It's a good price, what he's asking for it. I'm gonna take a chance. So I bought it, take it home, check it out on Discogs. And this is a second pressing mono from 1967, and this is a $100 record. A copy in this condition, I'd probably say this is about VG. I haven't listened to it yet, but I'm excited. I have a stereo copy that's like a reissue from like 1971, right around there, right after Hendrix passed. And so I'm excited to do a sound comparison between this mono second pressing and my early reissue. But yeah, a copy in this condition sold for $100. And so I was really pleased about that, and I was really happy with myself to just like trust my gut. And I didn't have Discogs, and I just went for it and bought it, and it turned out to be a huge score. So I am very happy that I turned around and went back for that yard sale. That's it as far as my finds. Let me know what you guys think about these in the comments. Do you have any of these? What can I expect from them? Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, consider giving the video a like, consider subscribing to the channel, and whatever you do, make sure you come right back here where stylus meets vinyl. Thanks. See you guys. Bye.